going? We're going. I am Melanie Blankenship. I am the host of Nature's Neighbor, joined with my co-host, Josh Carmichael of Carmichael Environmental. And happy first Monday of November to you, Josh. Can you believe it? I need to just reflect for a second. You know how when you feel like you're spinning in a room and you just want to put your foot down and stop the spinning?
This is a late night thing?
Yeah, I'm riding like the crazy train right now.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, time really does just slip by here at the end of the year. Everyone's starting to talk about 2026 and, you know, the seasons are
there's just a lot
passing.
going on there, too. Like, it's just, like, we are, you know, coming up tomorrow's election day, special election. People are like, what are we voting for? And I'm like, wait, you don't know what we're voting for? And it's like, you know, there's that going on. There's, you know, weather's been funky. You got a little warm this weekend.
It's been back and forth.
But, like, okay, so Saturday here at Nature's Touch, we did a fundraiser for our Templeton Rotary. We got here at 5, right, because we had 5 a.m. We had to set things up. And it was funny because it was beautiful. Like, not warm, but not cold, right? By the time the sun started to rise, it got so cold, all of us felt like we needed mittens and snow, you know, face protection. And
I can see your face.
I'm hiding behind the microphone because I'm too short. So, I got it. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm better. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Thank you. That's what That's why we had Miguel. Yeah, dude. You know. But so anyway, so super cold, right?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, where did this come from? As the sun started to rise, right? But then as the sun was upon us, it got really warm.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, we just did 3 seasons in a matter of a couple of hours. Because it was shocking a little bit. And I think you could kind of see how weather is definitely really playing on people's emotions. You see how it's playing on their overall health. It's definitely, there's something funky going on out there, you know?
Yeah, it depends on what town you're in. As I go town to town, you know, Los Osos has been very much hibernation. Whether you leave town, it's sunny. We did a Dia de los Muertos event in Slow, and so I get there and had all these jackets on. I was like, oh, okay, we're going to do this. So I had to strip everything down, and then it got cold again that night, so
it was
put on the Dodgers poncho
but then it stayed cold. You know, yesterday was kind of funky. So, you know, what does all this mean? This all means drastic change for what's going on in the soil. It means, you know, what's going to be ripening. You know, the things that we're craving as humans and what we're going to eat. You know,
a lot of harvest coming off the final.
We came off the celebration. I'm just going to say it in English for people that don't know what the Day of the Dead is really about.
Sure.
You know, we came off that, which was people. You know, it's a process time, but people really, you know, got out and celebrated it on Saturday on the 1st, and it's always kind of around that time. Let's talk about that because people, you know, other heritages celebrate or, you know, have a day of remembrance, or, you know, we have holidays that are days of remembrance as Americans, but do we actually have days of remembrance of our fallen or our past? You know, you don't hear that in an American society.
Yeah.
You know,
for the military, we have those days of memorial, but it's really good to remember all of our ancestors and all of our family that have come and gone, and you know, the dogs are really the ones that are the guides into the spirit world. So, you know, really. Great when we have our gatherings and then a lot of the kids remember their pets and they bring them to the altars. But we had a really great celebration with, you know, a lot of our Latino friends that really, you know, kind of brought that tradition with them here, and we get to celebrate and all share foods from, you know, the cultures that we're bringing together, and you know, make a good day of celebrating those people.
It's kind of a holiday that I like to talk to people a lot about composting, you know, and understanding that life goes full circle.
Yeah.
Life to me is not about, you know, done and gone, right?
Yeah, the dark side is, you know, you got to go through that to come back.
You have to.
The other end.
And I'm also that person, like, I would do anything to have my mom back in my life again, right? Like, but the funny thing is, in my world, is she raised us as to not do the woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? She raised us to be who we are. She lives inside me every single day. I feel her. At times I smell her. At times I hear her. Yeah, Mom, you know, when I'm doing naughty things, I
Sometimes you
definitely
sound
hear.
like her, probably.
Oh, I move like her. You know,
They're
my-
with us always, and
my
they're another
children-
energy form now.
My children do remind me that I'm turning into grandma, sometimes. So, it's, this whole, that day, right? That day of reflection, that day of remembrance, that day of understanding. Why am I talking like this too? Because I'm really starting to realize that society has become more about purchasing of things, acquiring of things, the materialistic things. We have lost,
so it's
especially
more surface instead
it
of the
is, and
depth.
especially with the political atmosphere and weather that we are all in right now. It's like we're gonna blow something up and create so much chaos and drama instead of stopping and going, turn that show off, turn our show on. No, I'm just kidding. But turn on something that is going to give you positive thinking, a different direction. Solution, right? Like, instead of us sitting here going, oh, we're not going to have this. Why aren't we doing what can we do so we don't ever need to rely on that? My mother raised us, my brother and I, and my, lucky enough for my children, they had her in their life for many years. So she raised us. There's the saying, you can give a person a fish and you can feed him for a meal, or you can teach a person how to fish and you can
Feed them for the lifetime.
Feed them for the lifetime. I can teach you how to grow food, or I can teach you how, to eat forever. And it's crazy to me is like, just in the sense of different cultures and different seasons, how we started this conversation off and talking about the weather. People are still walking in and wanting, peaches and nectarines,
Wow.
And I'm explaining those are out of season.
Yeah.
And I can't believe with all the knowledge and experiences that we have that people are still, so many people are out of touch with what's in season or what's available around them. If I get another text message or phone call asking me for raw milk, there's a lot to be said about raw milk. Okay, so I carry Alexander Dairy and Strauss Dairy. Why? Because, well, Albert Strauss, I truly believe in. I believe in the man who created this amazing dairy and amazing products, right? Alexander is just another added benefit of a beautiful dairy that has created a cow dairy, A2, which is the less protein availability. So those are what I carry at Nature's Touch. Yes, there are companies out there that carry that raw label. One of them would be Shock Dairy, who I'd want, but they don't distribute raw and how things are distributed. There is another local system that is trying to happen. I'm not going to say their name, and I know that's why I'm getting asked, but I'm going to be honest with you. I wanted their product. They're local, they're promoting local, they're doing things. But the first question I asked him was, where do you bottle? And when he didn't provide me the legality of what is really required to sell fluid milk in the state of California, and it's not herd shares, guys. Herd shares are not legal in California.
Yeah, that's one way people are doing it. I know.
But it's not legal.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe, what is legal anymore, right? It is a pay-to-play system. I agree. But the problem is when you have something to lose, you have to play by the rules.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm at right now. So I'm getting those questions. But at the same time, I'm also noticing even in Strauss Dairy and Alexander Dairies, their seasons are changing, right? There's certain things that are not available. Milk is declining in production naturally. We're going to get into some other reasons why it is. But it's also, they're trying to accumulate product to make other seasonal products, like eggnog.
Yeah.
Eggnog is available at Nature's Touch already. And I'm, super excited because it's definitely showing the signs of the times, right?
Yeah.
It's eggnog season, and it's definitely weather related to eggnog season.
Yeah, it's getting light, or it's getting dark later or earlier, to say. And so
Time
people
change.
are indoors more, and it's getting colder. And so, a little nip with your eggnog, it goes a long way to keep you through the night.
Naturally, even if you had cattle, which I think a lot of people have been disconnected, this time of the year, production slows down. Coming off of the summer, not a lot of grass is growing yet. So people that are, raising animals for their milk. It's, they're having to supplemental feed just to keep production up.
Yeah.
Let alone, how healthy are the animals right now if they have been producing spring and all through summer. Everything needs to rest.
Yeah.
Everything needs to
Cycle
through, and it's not about the massive quantities and providing it all and supplying it all, right? What
Yeah.
happened to quality and honesty and ethics? It's figuring things out, not wasting things, right? When the springtime, when cattle are milking or goats are milking a lot heavier, are people capturing that and really making cheese, making cottage cheese, making ice creams? Are they doing all of that? And then what they don't use, are they dehydrating it so we can have dairy solids? Like, people don't realize that all the steps that could take place,
Yeah.
so nothing goes to waste.
Yeah, the instant gratification, the on demand, the strain we're putting on the natural world is not natural.
Not at
and
all.
I think that's something that, really try to talk about with, what we can do here, and what we're doing is trying to just really kind of give people that, snapshot into where are we in the world and what, is available now or what is seasonally abundant.
Stop.
Because as you get rich in those products throughout the year, it helps you to look forward through the whole year and understand, those ebbs and flows and what goes up and down and to have something to look forward to. I mean, every time, we're out there, looking at, okay, with the rains come the mushrooms and chanterelle season. And so, we can't have that year round, but we can dry
And
them
some
and we
years
can
we don't
process
hardly
them or
have
freeze
any.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you're able to push things throughout the year, but, it's really so awesome when you can have something that is abundantly available that time of year where you can make enough to share. And that's really what, kind of the seasons are about, is that giving and having enough to give. Like, I know we have our pressing coming up and with the
Yeah.
olive oils. So that's
So Olea just had theirs.
the
I
end
was
of the
super
season.
sad because I got too busy here. We were busy with
Yeah.
our fundraiser in the store, and I couldn't get there. I'm
Sure they had a good
sure
time
It was
without
beautiful
us.
because
Yeah.
just walk on that property. It's just amazing. But yeah, ours is coming up November 15th. First come, first serve. 33 cents a pound. We will keep pressing until the last farmer comes in to the parking lot.
Yeah.
If there's a gap and nobody shows up for a while, you might need to call ahead if you're running behind. I would say after 1 o'clock. If you're running behind, give us a call because, we're all living our lives too. And, we're trying to, be like rock stars like I am today. So,
Yeah.
I'm, understanding the season of what it is. I love that I'm a diverse farmer, that I farm a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It's made me really realize, when I tell people I can't because I'm harvesting or I'm planting, and then I get the, Milne, are you using that just as an excuse so you don't, because you don't want to come? I'm like, actually, no. I'm like,
I wish,
actually, want to come hang out with me? You can
Yeah.
come plant and get dirty with me. Like I crack up because somebody actually said that to me the other day, and I'm like, oh, I did say that. I'm like, no, you just call me every 3 months, and that's about the time I'm planting or I'm pruning or I'm harvesting.
Yeah.
And so it's, I'm not that kind of farmer that's like a one-stop shop and that's it. I do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and guess what? I also live my life like that.
Yeah.
Like it's, instead of thinking I always have to have something, let's figure out with what I already have and let's get creative with it and
Yeah.
let's grow from that instead
Absolutely.
of thinking, oh, I have to have all of this right now. And that's kind of where I'm coming at this conversation with how I feel, because doing this fundraiser was a yard sale fundraiser. Just volunteering at different, I'm not going to promote because people don't need to know that sometimes I don't sleep, and I would rather go and volunteer and participate and help being others grow as who they want to be, not just what I'm thinking they need to be. That's what I do. Like people say, oh, I can't sleep. I'm like, if I sit, I sleep. So, but I don't sit very often. So, but at the same time, it's, I do all these things and I'm like, I feel like I don't have enough time to really, really just grab a hold. But at the same time, I'm starting to realize that there's a lot that you and I need to get out and educate, because being in front of people, there's a difference between that farmer being in the soil, right? And hiding
Yeah.
on the ranch and Hiding at Crescent Valley Meats, working to try to restore, rebuild that, that process.
Infrastructure, yeah.
Yeah, just to be able to hold on to it. I'm not changing anything. I'm just, trying to educate, trying to teach, trying to promote, trying to communicate better about the system of what Crescent Valley Meats is, and people are like, oh, did you just get started? I'm like, well, I've been a part of this for many years. I'm like, the raw dog food has been going on for, 25 years. I'm like, the USDA came on 15 years ago? We've been doing this for a long time, but it's crazy just in how many people don't even know what exists or what the possibilities are here.
Yeah.
People are caught up in this frenzy, and I'm going to be honest with you. I have not been this exposed to, I'm just going to say it, mean people. It was
Stressed out people, I guess, out there nowadays.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's okay. If free is too expensive, then I'm sorry, but I don't know what to tell you, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, free was too expensive, but they were angry and they wanted a deal. And I'm like, I'm giving this to you. What? that's the kind of thing going on. And I'm like, what is going on? What help me? Because maybe I've been, like I said, dirty and in the soil too much. Was there a shift?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that it's like coming back to that point where we have to learn how to do more with less. We are having a lot of turmoil through all kinds of our, commodities and tariffs and whatever, is really happening, geopolitically. But if we get down to it at home, how do we do more with less? The problem is the solution. If you're looking for saving money or you're looking for, stretching, things further, it's about how to process more. I was with some friends this weekend at their farm stand, needed to get a few things, and they're super busy starting to, dehydrate all the tomatoes and do sun-dried tomatoes and starting to put all the pears into, jams, and there's doing pesto with the, basil. Everything's coming off right now. So it's like, they weren't able to sell everything fresh. Well, then that's like, what do you do next? And you do that next
step. That's why
step.
I have a licensed kitchen. That was literally
Right, so,
Nature's Touch was, I started as a plant nursery selling at farmers market. Well, what happens when I got to be able to get my own seeds?
when you're rich in plant material, what do you
I
do
have
next?
plants and seeds. Now what do I do? Well, then I open a produce stand, and then I have other farmers that I had been working for that said, hey, Mel, will you help me sell this? Because I want to stay on the farm, but you got to go out there and help me sell this.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I do that. I'm like, guys, we have all this. Now what do I do? Oh, Melanie builds a commercial kitchen.
Yeah.
And now we can legally sell dehydrated. Now we can legally sell jams and jellies at our farm stand.
With the Vintage Club and things, it's just like knowing how to put a little bit more technology or a little bit more technique into your diet is going to help it go a
Let
long
me give you another
ways further.
Time.
Time as well.
Because it doesn't.
You got to dedicate something to it.
It doesn't have to be my technique. It doesn't have to be your technique. It could be, what do you like? Do you like things sweeter? Do you like things savory? I'm sorry that you're standing this close to me because I just went and had some pretty amazing hummus from our new neighbors out here in front of Nature's Touch. That it was really good, but it's garlicky. But I know I smell like garlic now. I'm going to sweat it out my pores, but it's good. And what do you like? Do you like it savory? Do you like it sweet? And if you like it sweet, then play with those fruit sugars. Play with honey. Do you like it salty? Lemon juice, and maybe a pinch of sea salt. But lemon juice and paste, people go, how do you not put salt in your pesto? And I said, because I use lemon juice. Mm-hmm. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, lemon juice is your substitute for salt. And if you ever wonder why there's a chest freezer, glass front chest freezer in Nature's Touch farm stand, and it has a whole section of lemon juice, that's why. Because I had taught so many people that had high blood pressure or, couldn't handle salt, right? And I gave them recipes that I said, see how much salt this is? This is how much lemon juice you can put into that and use it for that. And they're like, it's not going to, I'm like, not the lemon juice. It will give you a salty enhancement to that recipe.
Yeah.
And all of them
Pro
come
tip
in,
right there.
Yeah, and all of them come in and grab that lemon juice, and I giggle because I know exactly it's not always for cocktails. It is also for making
Yeah,
things.
it makes a lot of things go further. I mean, acid, fat, salt, heat, those are kind of your elements you have to work with and balance in every dish.
Yep.
And sometimes, it's nice to have a base that is a little more salt-free so that you can add, saltier ingredients as
I
you
would
go.
say salt is a finishing.
Yeah.
It's not an add. It's a finishing. Play with the flavors of the fruits. Play with the flavors of the earth. What if it's red, if it's a root veggie, or if it's a flower.
Yeah.
I forgot. Miguel's calling me on the other phone. Play with the flavors, and then at the end hit it with the salt that you need to your flavor, not to the recipe flavor.
Yeah,
right?
one of the dishes we did for the Dia Day was a cacao, and so we made that.
Also known as chocolate.
Yeah, well, just like a hot
Raw.
chocolate. We did a hot chocolate, and then we had a little side dish where you could add salt, you could add cinnamon, you could add sugar, or you could add cayenne. So you got to adjust, that flavor that you wanted as you desire.
There's nothing better than dark, rich, raw cacao.
Yeah.
And adding just a piece of cinnamon flake or bark
Yeah,
to it.
so it was
and
a
just
really
eat
nice
it, 'cause
Mexican dish that way.
The cinnamon takes the bitterness out of the cacao. You know, and I'll be honest with you, I grew up a Mexican.
Yeah.
I grew up with, my grandma said it differently, but it's Mexican hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Right? What makes it Mexican? It's the cinnamon that gets added.
Exactly.
The canela.
Yeah.
So to the drink. And so, cinnamon to me is a comforting, but cinnamon medicinally it stimulates digestion.
Yeah.
And it helps alleviate bacterial growth. So there's a lot.
There's a reason where these things exist, and especially culturally or things that are more authentic. There's a reason why those dishes are there, and like we talk about why we crave them at times of the year. And so I think there's a lot of reason for people to kind of reach into that further and to understand themselves better, or that time of the year better, and our seasonal abundance, so that they can eat richer.
Speaking of the season, it's turkey, right? Everybody's raising
Turkey Day.
turkeys. I mean, everything is about turkeys right now, and people know turkey as it slows down your metabolism when you consume turkey.
The tryptophan.
The tryptophan slows down your metabolism, makes you tired. It just slows things down, right? I might need a little bit, but understanding that is also too understanding what spices or what herbs you would want to use in cooking your turkey. Why does anybody that doesn't like to cook says that they don't know how to cook? Why do they all know that they're supposed to put sage with turkey? Because most recipes call for that. But where did that come from? Sage is a blood cleanser.
Yeah.
Sage is a family of the mint. It's a stimulant with a blood cleanser. So that you add those herbs to your foods, they actually serve a purpose. It's not just to make your brain happy when we and remember, that is something taught. That is not something that we're born to, like your
It's passed on, yeah.
It's passed on. And it's, we smell it first, right? Because the smell is what's going to attract the brain to wanting it. Then your, saliva glands start working, and that's how things are going to start.
All the senses come together.
As your body warms what you've just consumed, the oils and the medicinal part is released. And so that is where all these herbs, rosemary. Rosemary is this huge digestive stimulant. Also, too, smelling it stimulates clarity in the brain.
Yeah, good for headaches.
So, understanding what traditions have brought in with the recipes, but also it's the medicine that we don't recognize, and it is food as medicine.
And is love. So, I mean, it's really, something I think, like we said, this is the foundation that we build our cultures on, is our food. And it's very apparent in lots of cultures still today, especially, the older connections they have to their ancestors. But it was really nice bringing that in. Even this last weekend, like I said, we had some other dishes too, where we use chrysanthemums, right? As, such a really great part of Dia de los Muertos, bringing in that kind of pathway to the other side. But they also are really great in dishes, and you can get this beautiful orange color And so we did a tole, sort of a drink with that.
That's awesome.
You could do it to color your whipped cream and things.
What's the medicinal part of chrysanthemum?
That one I don't know.
It's an anti-insectarial, but it
antibacterial.
It pulls out things out of the blood too. So
yeah.
so it's anti-bug. So if you're a little under the weather, just steeping that.
So this time of year too helps with that ends. Yeah.
Because this is what I'm saying. Coming after the summer with all the sweet things, I was talking about it in dairy, but it's the same. The animal has been producing. We've all been producing. Our immunities work to keep our bodies cool, right? We're supposed to stay at that 98 degrees. Degrees. And when we get too hot or we get too cold, our immunities kick in to, really keep our body at that right temperature.
Burn things off.
With us coming off the heat and then all that sugar that we've consumed, and then now after Halloween and, all this stuff that we've consumed, now is the time when we should be detoxing. Or, Miguel was very religious about his fasting, which I was very proud of him for doing it.
Yeah.
And, people don't understand how important it is to go without several days. Your body just starts to become comfortable with consuming and carrying on what you've naturally become accustomed to, right? Shocking the body into knowing that, wait, you're not giving me what I want when I want it? It's like a toddler, right? It's like you got to learn how to teach it. Don't beat it, but just be balanced with it. Yes.
You gotta let your body do what it was designed to do.
Exactly. It's got to clean itself out so that all the functioning parts are connected. You have to clean. And that's, something, fasting is for you to decide how you do it with your body. I do it often where I start to feel, where I just, and I've realized I'm just going through the motion. I'm a grazer. I'll just eat whatever, like you saw me, just inhale the pita bread and hummus, but at the same time, it's I have to stop even and catch myself doing that. And
eating inside of a certain window is really, how our bodies were made. And so, there's something that's really good for us to do that.
And if I can't stimulate people to have these kind of conversations, or listen to yourself, listen to what your body wants instead of maybe what I'm going to tell you what you should need. Because this time of the year is this huge transitional time, right? Then we're going to start going on to the holidays where we're all supposed to be present with a big smile on our face and cope and expect to,
get to the darkest time of the year.
Where you pinch your children to not say that in front of that relative. You know what I mean? There's that kind of thing coming up. But people don't realize that coping and behavior and emotional reactions are based on nutrition.
Yeah.
And how our bodies are processing things, how we're consuming things, and I want to trigger that with thoughts with people. Now's the time to be, cleaning your body, exercising, harvesting, finding peace, grounding yourself. That's, celebrating and honoring our past is huge because it's also about grounding. It's about understanding that they might be gone, but they live in us all the time. You and I understand this because you see a dead plant that had died. It gave you a life, but it didn't succeed from that point. What did you do? We composted it. Mm-hmm. And we made sure that it came back as a value to something else, right? Yeah. And that's exactly what my mother...
But not forgotten.
Yes, that's what my mother did for me. Is she gave me life. And at the same time, how much I wish I had more than 47 years with her. I would do anything to just tell her, but I know she hears it. Yeah. And that day reminds me that she's here. Thank you. Thank you for giving me what you gave me. Thank you for teaching me. And also at times when she was still processing, she was still learning who she was. Yeah. I was also learning that with her. Yeah. She in my mind, she was a perfect mother. But in her mind, I know she'd say, well, Melanie, I'm sorry if I screwed you up. I'm like, well, you get an A for effort, So it's understanding that honoring no matter what life. My mom is the queen in my mind, but at the same time, it's life. How do we build a good quality life, live fulfilled, live, excited and fun, look forward to the next day without anger or without anxiousness? Or
Yeah, how do we carry on?
how do we carry on, Josh?
Yeah.
You got that? I'm giving you that question. That's $1 million question. Because, at the same time, my want for this next month and this next couple of weeks is that people really reflect within. Because I can't tell you how happy I was to go out and be a part of a community event. And are you having a reaction again? How excited? He's allergic to something in here. How excited I was, but at the same time shocked at behaviors of how we have become in this society. And that's where I'm like, are we not connected anymore? Obviously, Josh is it's about this time. You know?
It builds up. I
It
think I
builds
have
up.
liquid this time to help me, but
Yeah. A tickle in your throat.
yeah, I'm back.
Dust.
I'm carrying on.
It's the North
much as
County.
I can.
It's the North County.
Could be.
You're out of the
I only come
fog.
up once a week. Yeah.
You're out of the fog. But yes, on that note, that's I want to somehow stimulate this, because no more angry people, no more entitled, no more expectations that are unrealistic.
Yeah.
Well,
hopefully, we all realize, like you're saying, no one is perfect. And, how do we really be able to see ourselves? And I think that's something that's hard, for us to, and really other people reflect, back to us, what we're seeing in ourselves. So, how do we just sort of take that in deeper and really be thankful that people are showing that to us, and then work through it so that we're not, just projecting it onto everyone else. It's just sort of something that, we're hoping to evolve through. But if we could take care of each other more and be more of a community, more of a village, therefore we kind of know each other, and give each other enough room to do that. And I think that's something where, like we said, food is my, favorite political vehicle, because it's like when you break bread with someone, you can't yell at them like, would you please pass the salt? What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? You got to still communicate. You got to do
If
it.
you want the salt, you're going to have to ask someone
Yep.
next to you. So,
Well.
really trying to find the room for each other. And also, it could be a lot of our own shortcomings that are creating those issues and frustrations. Like you're saying, people
Reflecting.
demanding things that really, maybe if you change your demands, you're not going to have these frustrations. So if they're asking for things that are really out of season or out of, reason,
My demand is I want more time.
you have to figure that out.
I don't think I'm going to. It's a demand.
It's another dimension to really
Well, I need to
hone in.
reflect it on the different level of energy that I have within myself.
Mm-hmm.
That if I want more time, then I need to make more time.
Yeah.
I need to channel my energy differently, and channel my inner being to the strength of knowing my own capability.
Yeah, what are you really saying? You're just saying you are hoping to put your energies into something different than what you're putting it into, or, a different ratio. And so, yeah, that is really,
I wasn't going to put
something
my
to do.
energy into watching the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Not gonna
We
happen.
took care of that for you.
Yeah. Mhm. I'm not gonna.
we're doing just fine,
I'm not
don't
gonna
worry.
take the energy and telling you anything happily
Yeah.
about your win. Okay.
Well, better luck next year.
I have to say that because you had to wear that
We
T-shirt
might let someone
today.
else win next year. We'll see.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
But it's still exciting. It's happy it's still a California team, but it's
Yeah,
still the Dodgers.
Hey, we got to have our rivalries. We got to
Yeah.
have our alliances and our
Yep.
loyalties. And
there's
so
nothing better than
I appreciate it.
sports competition.
I still love you. Don't worry.
Oh, I know you will, because
We're still friends.
we're still friends. It's football season now, so let the plays begin.
Uh-huh.
So
You
that's-
just give us something to bet on. We used to have fun with families, friends, where it's like, okay, our team beats your team. You guys have to cook dinner for us. So
but it's
it comes back to food.
I'm going to be
and
honest.
sharing.
I'm a smart better. I don't.
You knew your team wasn't going to win this
Well,
year.
I'm a Raiders fan. How does that
Oh,
work?
gosh.
I'm not betting this year.
Yeah,
Okay? I'm not betting.
no.
Don't look at me like that. I'm still
Yeah.
a Raiders
No,
fan.
a lot of
Even
my
though
family
I'm not
is
betting on
there
them, though.
with
I'm still
you.
a fan.
I
Yep.
understand.
I got it. Well, I think we're pretty close to the time. We are. Oh, wait, do we have more time? We have more.
15 minutes.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
you know
we
what
got to talk for 15 more minutes?
You know what it
Oh,
is?
no.
It's dark outside.
Yes.
Yeah,
And so
we
that's,
did feel that.
I'm
You
off.
want to
Yeah,
show
so show me the difference. Because we normally don't have.
Yeah. We got into the spooky
We
part
got
of
it on a
the
spooky part.
season. Yeah.
But no, I'm off That's why I'm off because of the time. Oh, I
Yeah.
have something I want to talk to you about.
Great.
So there's a local news article that talked about how, and I'm going to quote it too, which made me even laugh. How produce needs longer time, and that is why we changed our times to where our clocks
Oh.
roll back. Yeah.
That there was going to be more sunlight for the vegetables?
Yes.
Wait,
Yes.
I don't think that works that way.
No.
I thought it was just for like the work hours.
You know what
Pretty
it
sure
is?
heaven sets the number of
Do
hours.
you guys know
daylight.
the history of time changes? It's a Hitler's technology. This is all Hitler's technology.
German precision, huh?
German precision. They
German
needed
engineering.
Daylights for more wartime surprises, right? Because the sun and the moon rotate, right? We know we're spinning, right?
Yeah.
So it rotates. So we are naturally in the wintertime going to have a little less sun. Then we, go to Alaska. You're not going to have any sun for a good period of time. Go to the equator, and guess what? You don't notice anything that changes,
Yeah.
right? It's always exactly the same on the equator. And so now having the days, this fall back, right? You do have more daylight hours to work.
Yeah, it just pushes you to get up earlier.
But our society has become where we have certain periods of times that we work. Where other cultures, like I love being in Mexico because we still take naps.
Yeah.
And so we get up early in the morning and we do all our dues, and then by 1, 2 o'clock, we're taking a nap until 4 o'clock.
That's because it's so hot
It's
during the
because
day.
it's so hot, and then during the night, we're out partying and hanging out with our
Celebrating, yeah.
neighbors.
One thing I've been listening a lot about is circadian cycles.
Mm-hmm.
Does it mess with your circadian cycle?
Yeah, and everything. And that's all barometric pressure plays with, and what's barometric pressure when the day becomes night, night becomes day. There's, and then the weather patterns that change, pressure. You hear all these words in meteorology, right? But the time change is a human control. It
Yeah.
does not have anything to do with farming.
It's
Yes.
sort of our culture to push through those natural cycles. And so there is so much that we are pushing against. And how do we really change those
Somebody
patterns
that
a bit?
wakes up at 5 o'clock and doesn't go and come in the house until 10 o'clock, guess what? I am still starting in the dark and ending in the dark, all right? So no matter what we do,
Yeah.
it's not working for me, okay? So I'll be honest with you, if we can fall back and stay here and not change, this would be nice because this is the natural system now where the sunlight as the days start to grow longer, right?
Yeah. Better sleep this time of the year.
When do
you
we
can-
do this? When is the most important times of a farmer's calendar? First day of winter and the first day of summer, right? First day of winter means that we're starting to head towards longer days, more sunlight. We're headed to that. That's the rebirthing. That's the renewal.
Winter solstice,
That's
yeah.
the winter solstice. It's all about coming back alive, right? And see, Day of the Dead. But we're coming back alive on December 21st, But the sad thing is people don't understand, what does the first day of summer mean? We're starting to lose our daylight time. We're starting to rescind or recluse or bring back in.
Yeah,
and
things
so,
start to ripen. And
right?
you got to
And
bring the
we're-
harvest.
And we're resting. You didn't know that, Miguel? Yeah. The first day of summer is the longest day of the year. Why? Because from that point on, it starts to shorten. And so, so we're headed towards December, right? So this is what I'm saying. Leave the time alone. Let's stop messing with people's minds and start, do we have to always copy everything that's bad? Can't we copy things good?
Yeah.
There's so many things that you and I are trying to advocate or help people recognize that was things that were copied from wartime horrible. And
Yeah.
it's so weird to me that we seem to capture that and that becomes the habit. Where can we just be nice, eating good food, hanging out with people that we live amongst?
Yeah, I
just
think the
be nice?
consumers have it all. I mean, really, the power is in the masses,
Oh, gosh,
especially
yes.
in a country like this. And so instead of, the corporate way and a lot of things that have been pushed down upon, we do need to find, taking back up the village way.
Yeah, I
and
could
how
go
to
from-
support
yeah.
each other and to go with the seasons, go with the times. And really, like you said, I mean, that's where we find a lot more health and wealth. And those are the biggest issues we have in America. And so it really is something that I think we have to take back on our own. I mean, it's just not going to come from the top down. You know, the people who are making all the money aren't going to all of a sudden say they don't want to do that. It's really something that, you know, we have so many ways to take back control, you know, in our communities, in our lives, and it really does start with the foundation of, you know, our food sources and, you know, who we're getting it from or how we're getting it and what we do with it and how to process it. So I think the more that we can do there, you know, the more we're helping ourselves and we're helping our neighbors, you know, have more health and wealth. And beyond that, we can do, you know, anything we want together.
Can you imagine? I mean, I'm never expecting that a majority of people would shift and become more centralized in their living, meaning live within our community, live within our means, you know, kind of create an resilience from the outside, just be resilient towards the craziness. If we can't do it here, then why do we need it from anywhere else? We can do just about anything you can ever imagine here.
Yeah. Well, and there's two lifestyles there. There's really a rural lifestyle and there's a city lifestyle. And it's not that one's right or wrong. It's just sort of, you're sort of picking one or the other.
Yep.
You know, I reminded the one time I had to go down to the Staples Center and do a landscape industry show, you know, talk. And we had, you know, had the kids. And so I hadn't really been traveling for a bit. So I felt like it might have been like 5-6 years since I really had gone anywhere far or populated. And so I get off at the Civic Center downtown LA and I forgot about skyscrapers. I was like floored. I was like, oh my God, I forgot that these exist. I haven't seen more than a 3-story building in about 5-6 years. And so
you have you have to get out a little bit. And I'm not, you know, but
I'm saying where you choose to live. If you choose a rural lifestyle, it's a little easier to be closer to your food production or to be a food producer. And that's what you're choosing. And you're choosing that. And who's supporting you is people who live in cities because they don't have time to grow their own food or raise their own food. So it's a cycle that gives back and forth. And that's kind of where, you know, there were city states, or a lot of our states have things like New Jersey's the Garden State because that's where the food was produced for in New York City as it was growing, right? And our county is really beautiful that way. In between each town here, it's just fields
and it was
or
crazy.
forest.
So when I was in North Carolina back in February, of course, you know, I have time off and it was 13 degrees, you know, but I still got in the car and took off and found myself dairies and
in
farms
the country somewhere
in North Carolina. I saw the whole state of North Carolina in the matter of 5 days, which, you know, back there is the size of San Luis Obispo County, so you can't. But, you know, it was funny because, you know me too. It's like walk in, hi, I'm Melanie. What's in season? What do you mean what's in season? I'm like, well, I want some fresh food. Well, you're not getting fresh food here. You know, I will never forget this gentleman. They had a big like shop that they did an indoor all day farmers market, right? And they did little booths where farmers came in and brought their stuff, right? He was the only one that was there, but it was because they were bringing in foods from other states, right?
Yeah.
And so they wouldn't bring out of country. They didn't think. But I had to educate them on imports of Florida. They were heavily relying on Florida, and they didn't know what was actually being grown in Florida and what wasn't.
It's just coming in the port.
So, you know, we was having this discussion, and he was funny. He goes, well, you realize that North Carolina has become the supplier of New Jersey and New York. And I didn't know that part of the whole economic structure of, North Carolina still has open land. It's still farming. You know, Virginia still has a little bit, but I mean, as you move coastal,
that's how far out from the metropolis it is now.
And I'm like, wow, that's like, I farm and I go, what financially gave me the stability to open my retail store? Selling plants and produce from the Santa Monica Farmers Market all the way up to the Ferry Plaza Farmers Market. I had to go to those places in order to sell all my goods.
Yeah.
Why? Because around here, people were feeding
producing some of their own,
producing some of their own, or they didn't.
Well, there's more competition.
There was different competition, right? It was it was different. People weren't, into heirloom tomatoes or heirloom melons at that time. That was, back in 1994.
Oh,
that
that's
kind
another
of,
century.
But it wasn't popular then. But because of the wine industry, because of that,
or the cities, they draw people towards those trends.
Yep.
They are sort of those sinks of economics and trend and other movements. But yeah, it's really great where you can pick and choose where you want to live, and really kind of take part of that. And so I know we always speak to our kind of hometown here in our county, and our lifestyles, but. we really think that, getting people connected here, hopefully we're sending waves out, that send trends to the other, cities or places that we can,
But it's
be
even
more reliant upon each other.
Me traveling, right? It's crazy because I'm so happy to come home. But it's because because yes, it's beautiful. Look at look at what we get to
It
be a
is
part
great
of.
coming
But
home here.
at the same time, Josh, it's crazy to me how much fun I have going to these other places, and even having this like the gentleman that I was referring to that was the only guy that had stuff. It was funny because all he wanted to do was be dirty too. He just wanted to be in the soil, and it's like, why did I meet him? And I'm still talking to him. He texts me, "What are you doing in California now?" And he's like, "It's getting cold back here," kind of thing. And I was like, and he was 25, 26, you know what I mean? He has the want. And I'm like, here I am, silly me, looking for something to do in North Carolina, and I make this connection, and I'm going, hey, but what's your soil temperature? And he's like telling me, and I'm like, but you could be growing this. Put a hoop house over it, get a little earlier season. And I'm like, but you got to compost in there. And it's crazy because I'm like, he's on the opposite side of the country. And then I have a bee guy that just does honey, and he's making his own sodas back there, honey-based sodas. And we have a conversation. He goes, all right, don't tell me how warm it is in California because I'm putting my bees to sleep. You know what I mean? Like I so much honor that time, but honor that influence because they're influencing me. But they also too, I'm noticing that I'm helping them appreciate where they're at, where their roots are put, and they are really making me more appreciative of where I'm at too. Because it's like, they point out how lucky I really am.
Yeah, and that's creating community in its own right, even though you guys are far apart, right? Like you said, it's just something where we're sharing and connecting. It's always going to allow us to build up, a good foundation from the ground up. And so I really, look forward to the seasons change.
So,
it is getting cool. But
before we end the show, Shawnee's event is this weekend, right? This Saturday.
Yeah.
November 8th, right?
So November 8th, I think they're still taking, tickets.
It's all on Nature's Neighbor social media. All their flyer is there. Shawnee is our Selenian member who is having an event out in Lockwood this weekend and doing a lot of native foods, a lot of education. I just want to promote it. I am really trying hard to get to it. I have a family event that I have to go to before I go there. But yes, so there it goes.
Yeah, so it is the
Saturday,
November 8th.
Yeah,
it's 5:30 at the San Antonio Valley Community Center.
They need an
That's
RSVP.
in Lockwood. Yeah, they were wanting to, but we told them we could extend that because we could make food for whoever shows up. So that is at the San Antonio Valley Community Center. So that is the SAVA, SAVHA, dot org.
I'll share
Let's see.
Guys, stay tuned. I'll share it all
Yeah,
over all
but
my
hopefully
social
we can
media.
get some people out there
You
this
guys
weekend
can
and
text me 805-712-3478. Text me and I'll send you the flyer directly too that way. So we can get out there and support them, celebrate.
Yeah, hear more about their history.
You've been
and
out there lately?
The Selenian tribe. I have not.
Okay, you need to go see the San Antonio Mission.
Oh,
There
yeah.
is a native landscape that my previous co-host, Eric, Gorham, worked on.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, somebody sent me some pictures a couple of days ago, and it's all getting established. And
Nice.
it gives me hope, right? Like it needed a restoration, and they went out and they did it.
Yeah, I know Eric. Yeah, I'll have to check in on
Oh my
that.
gosh, it is so beautiful. So
Beautiful.
just go to if you can't make it to that, go out and support San Antonio Mission. You know, wherever you stand, religiously, just go out and look at the plants. They are beautiful. And so
it's going to be good weather out that side of the county
cooler,
this time of year. Yeah, it won't
very
be
cool.
triple
Yeah.
digits. So
Yeah.
good time to be out there and
go and support and then enjoy. And then, next Monday we'll remind people, November 15th, even if you don't have olives, come and you don't have to stay the whole time. Just come take part. I have quite a few people that are going to come out and have little booths out in front. Robbie and his wife are going to come out and have ostrich meat for
Nice.
sale and sample. They raise ostriches also in Lockwood. So, they're going to be out here. I'm going to have, there's quite a few people. I'll have a good list next week of confirmations of all the people that are going to be here. Oh, the rare fruit tree growers, Central Coast rare fruit tree growers. Yeah, they're going to sell fruit trees. So they're going to be out here. They're not, I don't know about olives, but they'll have a bunch of others. Just a really cool
Good group,
of
yeah.
people, and they're going to be out here in front of the store November 15th, starting at 8 a.m. More likely, I see us going until 2 or 3-ish. But like I said, we will continue that mill until that last farmer. Remember, you're going to be a farmer in this situation, even if you don't consider yourself. Even if you're harvesting one tree.
You're a miller. now.
Yeah, you're a miller. You're a farmer slash farmer
Slash
miller.
cook, because what you can do with all that olive oil,
Drink it. Because
Yeah.
you want that fresh press at Oleo Nevo is nothing better. So
Yeah.
please, please, please come out, view it, stick a cup underneath the press, try it. I promise you'll never have anything like this. So here at Nature's Touch, 225 South Main Street, beautiful downtown Templeton, where we're standing at right now.
Yeah.
And so come
See
join
you
us.
soon.
We really appreciate you guys. Take care.
Cheers.